Hello everyone, so today I want to plant a chili tree. The material is a pot, soil, chili seed and water. So first thing first, we need to create a hole like the soil. Okay. And then we need to put the chili seed. Okay, not too many. And we cover it with the soil. Okay. And then we need to sprinkle some water in it. Okay, done!
Hey you, come here. I want to show you something. Okay, you want to see a magic? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Gargle Laviosa. You want to know this? This is a root. So you want to know what happened in this root? So stay tuned with our video.
Dissolved salts are present in the cytoplasm of these cells, also called as cell sap. Cell sap is much more concentrated than the salt solution present in the soil. Cell sap is also a salt soluble. It is more concentrated than the salt solution present in the soil. The cell membrane of the root hair is a semi-permeable membrane that separates the cell sap, which is the concentrated salt solution in the soil, which is the dilute salt solution. Water flows along with solutes from the soil into the cell sap of the root hairs. Thus, roots absorb water and salts from the soil by the process of osmosis. The absorbed water and salts will move to the next cell once again by osmosis. The movement of water from the roots to the other parts of the plant above the ground is called the ascent of sap.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my group, which consists of 5 people, which is me, Dr. Akila binti Yaakob, AS10782, Awni Safira binti Azizai, AS10581, Nurasha binti Muhammad Halil, AS10508, Ahmad Fikir bin Abdul Aziz, AS10608, and Siti Nur Ain binti Roni, AS10693. We'll be presenting about Chapter 35, Flowering Plants. We are going to look at the nutrition and transport in flowering plants. So now let's move to the water and mineral uptake in flowering plants. Actually, there are two main ways where water and mineral uptake, which is for the first part, the water and minerals will weave in its way between the cell. It will diffuse from a porous cell wall to the cell wall of adjacent cell, and then the water will be blocked by the Casparian strip at the endodermis. At here, the water will then be forced to enter endodermis cell through the plasma membrane. So for the second part of the water and minerals uptake, the water and mineral uptake will travel from plasma membrane of one cell, and then it will infuse into the plasma membrane of another cell by an opening. The opening is called plasmodesmata. So, how water and mineral uptake in flowering plants? So, actually, water and mineral uptake in flower plants is occur because there are osmotic pressure, and the water surrounding the root is higher than the water inside the root. Then the water will move to the inside the root using osmosis, and then this will cause osmotic pressure. Okay, let's move to the next. So, Casparian strip. What's the Casparian strip that I mentioned just now? So actually cusper strip is a band of cell wall material which is deposited on the radial and transverse walls of endodermis. So what is the difference between cusper strip and cell wall? Cusper strip is made of suberin and sometimes lignin, but cell wall is made up of lignin without suberin. So the cusper strip is to prevent the backflows of minerals. Then it will maintain higher mineral concentration in root xylem than the soil. So now let's move to the mineral uptake in plants. Mineral uptake is taken by plants by using active and passive transport. So the plants have a ability to concentrate minerals until they are 10,000 times more concentrated than the surrounding soils. So there are three types of minerals that are taken by the plants, which is nitrogen. Uh, nitrogen, the plants take the nitrogen in the form of nitrate, phosphorus in the form of phosphate, and potassium in the form of potassium ions. So these ions cannot cross the plasma membranes as it is unable to enter non-polar portion of lipid bilayer at the plasma membrane. So that's why these ions need active transport. Fun facts, mineral uptake will be diminished if the roots are poisoned. It is because there are no cellular respiration when it is poisoned and there are no energy, ATP energy. So we will move to the mechanism. This mechanism use proton pump or what we also call it plasma membrane pump. So it will hydrolyze ATP and it will release an energy. So the energy will be used by the hydrogen ion to transport hydrogen ion out of the cell. This will cause electrochemical gradient and it causes the potassium ion enter the cell by using channel protein. So when the potassium ion enter the cell, the negatively charged ions such as nitrate and phosphate also will be transported using carrier protein into the cell. So when the negatively charged ion is transported into the cell, the hydrogen ion also will moving down its concentration gradient and move into the cell. The hydrogen ion does not require any energy. So following the uptake by root cell, and then minerals and water will move into the xylem by the upward movement of water. Then the minerals will exit the xylem at here. As you can see, it exit the xylem and reach the cells which require them, such as the leaf. In any cases, minerals must gain a selectively permeable plasma membrane when they exit xylem and enter living cells.
Okay, so this is the differences between stoma open and stoma closed. As you can read it, okay, stoma open will occur when during the light day, and the stoma closed will happen during the dark day. Okay, stoma open will occur because the water will enter the gut cell and the turgor pressure will increase and stoma will open, and the stomach close will happen when water exit the gut cell and turgor pressure decrease, and that will make stomach close. Okay, when the stomach open, what happen is carbon dioxide can enter the leaf, so it will make the photosynthesis process. And for the stomach close, carbon dioxide cannot enter the leaf, so unable to photosynthesize efficiently. Okay, we go to the next slide. But before that, I want to ask you something. big all of you have think what is actually happen during the stomach open and stomach close, and what it is effect the stomach that will make it open and close. Have you wondered? So I will tell you what is happen. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, we will start the opening and closing process. So as you can see, this is process for the opening stomach, and this is for closing stomach. Okay, they just have 3 process for each opening and closing. I hope all of you can memorize and understand it. Okay, okay, what is actually affect the stomach open? This is the answer. This is respond to blue light. Okay, blue light will strike photoreceptor. Okay, so this is the first step. Blue light will strike photoreceptor, and that will increase the pump. That will increase the proton pumping. So proton will leave the gut cell. So as you can see, ion hydrogen will leave the gut cell. Okay, and okay, before that I want all of you to do like this. So this is the start of the process of opening stomach. Okay, okay, okay. The next is as you can see, ion potassium and ion chlorine will enter cell. Okay, ion potassium and ion chlorine will enter cell along electrochemical gradient via inward directed potassium channel and hydrogen or chlorine co-transporter. So the three will enter the gut cell. Okay, and the last step is, okay, from this, okay, water will follow the process by osmosis. Okay, when water enter the gut cell, it will increase the turgor pressure and increase the turgor pressure. Okay, that will make the cells swell and stomach will open. Okay, did all of you get it? Okay, we go to the next process, which is stomach close. Okay, stomach close will respond to ABA. Okay, ABA will bind to receptor on gut cell. Okay, and it will make the proton pumping will stop. So when the proton pumping will stop, there are no proton will leave the gut cell. So what is leave the gut cell is ion chlorine will exit along electrochemical gradient. And okay, for the stomach close, it will start with the open stomach. Okay. Okay, the next step is will also happen the change in membrane potential open toward directed potassium channel. So ion potassium also exit along electrochemical gradient. And the last step is, okay, start with this, and water will follow by osmosis, and so water will exit the gut cell, so it will decrease the turgor pressure, so the cell will shrink and stomach will close. Okay, that's that for the process. I hope all of you can get it. Okay, so this is the last explanation for me. So there are 2 adaptation, which is mutualistic relationship, which is root nodal mutualistic relationship with bacteria. So symbiosis occur between various bacteria, collectively rhizobia and legume plant, which is beans and alfalfa. So in the root nodals, they have a bacteria. So bacteria will do the nitrogen fixing bacteria. So we go to the next, which is mycorrhizae mutualistic relationship with fungi. So plant without mycorrhizae are most limited as to the environment in which they can go. As you can see, that the small one and the bigger one is the plant with mycorrhizae, which is can do mutualistic relationship with fungi. Okay, the fungus will increase the surface area for available mineral and water uptake, breaks down organic material in the soil, and lastly, releasing nutrients the plant can use. And in return, plant will furnish the fungus with
Role of water potential. As we know, in a living system, water molecules diffuse freely across plasma membranes from area of higher concentration to the area of lower concentration. So this also same goes to the plant, but we call it as a water potential. So, what is water potential actually? Water potential is mechanical energy of water. So, here is the most important part that you must to understand and be able to remember it through this topic. So, here is the keyword. Water moves from a region of higher water potential to a region of lower water potential. So remember, this is the important keyword that you must to remember. So there are two factors that determine water potential. First is water pressure across a membrane, and second is solute concentration across a membrane. Okay, let's take a look at this picture. So as we can see, there is an arrow that representing as it goes up, water potential become lower. So maybe you can ask why at roots, water potential is higher than leaf. So the answer is at roots, water potential comes in by osmosis, but at leaf, water moves out and escapes through a stomata. This is the reason why there are differences between water potential. Next, comparison between osmotic potential and water potential. The major differences between these two types of potential is movement of water. As I already said, in slide number 3, water potential. Water moves from a cell with higher water potential to a cell with a lower water potential. But in osmotic potential, water moves across a membrane from area of lower solute concentration to an area of higher solute concentration. So by this, we can conclude that osmotic potential and water potential is inversely proportional. As osmotic potential become higher, then water potential become lower. Other than that, pressure potentials that increase due to osmosis is often called turgor pressure. Turgor pressure is critical because plants depend on it to maintain the turgidity of their bodies. So, the higher the water pressure, the higher of water potential. So, we can conclude that a water pressure and water potential is directly proportional to each other. So, this is just to refreshing our memories that vacuole is the structure that necessary for a plant to maintain turgidity. So this is the real situation when plants become real. So as you can see, the plant cells it become plasmolysis. So what happens in this stage is the extracellular fluid, which is water potential, pressure potential, and osmotic potential, is higher than water potential, pressure potential, and osmotic potential inside the cell. So, as water enters the cells, pressure potential will increase until the cell is turgid.
Today I am going to present about the pressure flow model of phloem transport. The pressure flow model is actually a theory developed by scientists on explaining virtually how the phloem set flows from the sources to the sink. So before we get further, there are a few terms that we should be familiar in this subunit. The first one are the source cells, which are area of the plants that produce and supply the sucrose to other parts. For examples are the matured leaves. Next, we have the sink cells, which are area of the plants that consume the sucrose from the sources for their own development. For example are the roots. Now we will go to the mechanism of the phloem flow. where we will start with the movement of the sucrose from the mesophyll of the leaves into the sieve tubes of the phloem, where the process depends on the hydrogen ions, on the concentration gradients of hydrogen ions. So how does that happen? ATP from sieve tube cells will cause the protopump to pump hydrogen ions from the sieve tube into the mesophyll cells and creates a concentration gradient between both of them. Thus, hydrogen ions and sucrose will move into the sieve tube simultaneously through the co-transporter because of the low concentration. Now there is a high concentration of sucrose in the sieve tube. This will cause water from the xylem to flow in via osmosis because of the low amount of solute. Next, the massive pressure from the water flow will force the sucrose in the sieve tube to move along the phloem tube until it reaches the zinc cells or the roots. Now at the roots, the sucrose are unloaded and they are used for certain processes like respiration. So because of this, the concentration of sucrose in the sieve tube will drop rapidly. This drop will cause water in the sieve tube to flow back into the xylem via osmosis, and the pressure inside will be reduced. As the result of the reduced pressure, the sap from area with higher concentration will flow to the area with lower concentration, so that the mechanism can be repeated continuously. So that's all for the mechanism. Scientists also made an observation on the feeding habits of the aphids. Aphids are tiny insects that feed on the phloem sap. So these aphids, they have needle-like mouth part that are called stylet to penetrate the plant stems and the phloem, but they do not suck in the sap. Instead, the pressure from the phloem flow will force the fluid to move inside the digestive system until it becomes excess, and the excess of the sap will oozes out of the anus of the aphids, and they are called honeydew. So these honeydew are like water droplets at the end of their bud that usually ants will feed on. So from this observation, it demonstrates that the phloem transport flows under high pressure. Thus, it makes the pressure flow model can be acceptable and relevant for the science education.
For me, I will explain about water transportations. So, what is water transport? Water transport have two points here. For the first point, minerals at high concentration beyond the endodermis in root xylem tissue. Focus on concentration beyond endodermis in root xylem tissue. So it means the medium of plant doesn't need to be a soil. It can be a cotton or maybe a water, the hydroponic system. As long the minerals in the water or cotton is higher concentrations, water transport will always happen. Next, we point to the 2 point is root pressure. So solute concentration difference will make a continuous movement of water into root. When there is a solute concentration difference, the higher water composition and lower water compositions, there will be a movement water into the root. Because of this movement, root pressure happen. Root pressure to help the plant to help the water move upward into all parts of land. Let's go to the next slide. I want to talk about cohesion tension model xylem transport. So for the cohesion tension model xylem transport, for the first point, water into the xylem will transport against gravity to all parts of plant. And second point, water and minerals travel upward yet no energy is required. So cohesion tension model to explain what happened so that water doesn't need is resistance against the gravity and no energy is required when they want to travel upward. So I divide this into 3 parts. For the first part is soil, second part is stem, and last part leaf, to make you understand more. Okay, next slide. I want to start first with soil. Okay, for the first picture, higher water potential in soil, lower water potential in root. So there is a solute difference. Water move from the soil into the roots. Second picture, because of this movement, water into the roots by osmosis. Last picture, because of this movement, root pressure happen, and root pressure help water to move upward. But root pressure is not enough, so will travel into the stem. So water already at the stem. So in the stem, there are 2 things that help the water: cohesion and adhesions. So cohesion, water molecules stay linked in chain. With this, the water molecule will help continuously move upward. Then we talk about adhesion. Adhesion, ability of water to stick to xylem, ability to stick to the wall. So the water is kept in place. Then, but remember, root pressure and adhesion and cohesion is not enough. We leaf and then we turn into leaf. Leaf we have transpirations. So what transpirations is water molecule escape from the leaf, inhale spongy mesophyll into the air through stromata. Okay, remember when they escape in chain of water molecule escape. To make you understand more, I give you an example of a straw. You drink from a cup of water, water will decrease. So it will help. So then there is an evaporation of water exert tension. Because of the tension, it will make a constant tugging or pulling of water column from the top. So in the leaf there is a transpiration, exert tensions, and water is going upward from root stem into the leaf. That's all for cohesion tension model. So let's talk about summary. I will start with the root. Remember, there is root pressure because there is solute difference. Higher water potential, higher water potential, lower water potential. Movement of water by osmosis, and there is a root pressure. Then they travel into a stem. Stem cohesion, here cohesion by hydrogen bonding between water, while adhesion because of polarity of water. Cohesion and adhesion help the movement of water too. Then last but not least is the leaf. For the leaf, there is transpiration, create tension. Then the tension is the one that pulls the water column upward from the roots to the leaf. That's all from us.